Hey, retroerick97 here, coming back with the controversial video that I promised on Elvis What Happened, the book. Right there. The dark other side of the brightest star in the world. What happened? Three of his closest companions tell a shocking, bizarre story. Now, a lot of Elvis fans do not like this book. I'm not one of them. I actually enjoyed this book. Now I'm going to tell you why I enjoyed it in a little bit. So here's some backstory. The book was written by Red West, Sonny West, and Dave Helber. Red went to high school with Elvis. So he was with Elvis since 1955. He was in Elvis's inner circle and hung out with him. Then later on, Red's cousin Sonny West met Elvis in 1958 and began working for him in 1960. So he was in Elvis's inner circle since the 60s. Well, Vernon Presley told them they were fired because of money, saving money, and other people in his inner circle thought it was because only those three would stand up to Elvis about his drug dependency. Because at that time, Elvis was taking prescription drugs a lot more in 1977. And this is what Elvis What Happened came out July of 1977. And Elvis sadly passed away August of 1977. Now, where I first saw this book, I'll tell you where I first saw this book. I first saw this book on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack from season 10, episode 5. It's on YouTube. You could go on there and watch it. It's all about Elvis, the first story is. And Elvis was scared, they said. He was scared because this book was coming out and it was going to show a different side of him. Now, do I think they made this book to hurt him? No. Do I think they were mad about what happened? Yeah. They were mad because I would be mad because they've been with him that long. I know Red and Sonny West were with him that long, and just to be told that you're getting let go for money, which Elvis spent money on those guys, and those guys weren't with him for the money. Red and Sonny West tried to get him off of drugs, off of those prescription drugs, and he said he needed them because a doctor told Elvis he needed them. Elvis was one of those people that he listened to doctors all the time. So if they told him to take something, he took it. And really, who's going to tell Elvis no? He's the biggest rock star in the world at that time, and he still is a major rock star. So here's the spine of the book. Now, this is a really good copy of this book. A devoted son, a generous friend, a model army recruit, a gifted entertainer, a beloved hero to millions, and he still is. This is the Elvis Presley the world knows and cherished. Brooding, violent, obsessed with death, strung out, sexual deviant, which he was, let's be honest. This is the other side of Elvis, according to three men who lived with him through it all. A man who charmed a beautiful young fan into joining him on a drug binge for two that nearly killed her. Takes a group of friends on a 3 a.m. visit to a mortuary to look at a corpse and talk about embalming. Hurls a pool cue at a party guest who interrupts his game, injuring her breast. Talks with his bodyguards about a hit on the man who he felt stole his wife. Now, that was Mike Stone. Has for years leaned heavy on uppers and downers. Yes, like I said, Elvis was on pills. He took pills. That's what he got stoned on. He took pills, prescription pills. because back then he thought it was a thing to do. Now, in the Unsolved Mystery episode, Red West is on there. And he talks about being with Elvis, and he talks about, trying to help him and talking to him. Say, you don't need this anymore. Let's get you off this. And then Elvis said, I need it. And he looked at him, he went, you need it? And he went, I need him. And that was where he left it. But then they have David Stanley on there. And David Stanley keeps claiming that back then that Elvis committed suicide. No. And Red West came out and said, no. I know what a devout Christian he was, and I know what he would do and what he wouldn't do, and he wouldn't kill himself. And I believe that. Maybe it was an accident, overdose. He took more than he should have, because Elvis was always doing that in the 77 and 76. He kept taking more than he should, and then he almost died a couple times, but people saved him. But here is some pictures in this book. Now, like I said before this, in the beginning of this video, there's a lot of Elvis fans out there that hate this book and think that they don't know what they were talking about, that they shouldn't have made this book. I'm not here to judge if they should have made the book or not, but let me tell you something. Nobody's perfect. You can't sit there and say that, oh, they didn't know Elvis, they can't write this personal stuff. They did know Elvis. They knew Elvis better than anybody. Unless you were with him on a daily basis, if you were with Elvis, you don't know what he went through and what he did on a daily basis. So these people that are putting Elvis on a high pedestal, like he wasn't a person, you guys need to stop. Because he was a person. He was not a king. He hated being called a king. And I think the people that are saying that no, Elvis wouldn't do that, these people are lying. No, they're not. You could be mad because they made this book, but you can't call them liars either, because they would know better than you what really happened to Elvis Presley. I think what happened with him was a tragedy. I think that he just got relied on drugs and it just went really bad on him. And he got heavier, because he did in 1977. If you ever watched his last concert, it's sad to see him like that. He should not have been on that stage doing that. He should have got healthy. This book, they said back then that this was a challenge to Elvis to say, hey, wake up, get healthy again, let's do this. But it was too late. And a lot of people, like I said, they hate this book. Elvis fans. I ran into a lot of Elvis groups online that I talked to on my Facebook. And when I said I like this book, they absolutely argued with me about this book. And I shot them with that same statement. You weren't there. You do not know what he did on a daily basis. You don't know what he was about. You think you know what he's about? Because, yeah, there was a lot of stuff he did that was good. He gave cars away. He saved a little girl. He did all this stuff for people, and it was good. But what it comes down to is Elvis Presley was human. He was not perfect. No human is perfect. He was a good Christian guy, but I think he got taken advantage of too. Because he always thought, well, a doctor prescribed me, so it should be good. Yeah, it was, but he should have looked into it. Now, the Unsolved Mysteries episode, go online, watch it. It's one of the best of Unsolved Mysteries. I'm going to be doing more videos like this too on other Unsolved Mystery books, because I got a lot, so I do deep dives like this. But even in that on that Unsolved Mystery episode, there was a guy there, and he said Elvis's worst problem is being Elvis Presley. Looking out of your window and seeing fans thinking you are a king. Can't go nowhere. He couldn't go nowhere. Where was he gonna go? Elvis would have been mobbed if he went anywhere. Because the fans just wanted to get a piece of him and just be able to touch him and see him. And I get that. Why they wanted to go towards Elvis and talk to him and, be able to shake his hand or get his autograph. But what killed him is that he couldn't go nowhere. What is he going to do? What was he supposed to do? So the drugs that he took is because he had nothing better to do. He had to rent movie theaters at night. He had to rent whole amusement parks just for him and his friends. He could not be normal because he was Elvis Presley. So I think that guy was true. Elvis's biggest downfall was being Elvis Presley. His music is timeless. But I'm not going to sit there and be like all you other Elvis fans that put him on a pedestal and say that he's next to God. He's not. He was a man. He did stuff that we didn't know about until this book came out. Now, I wasn't alive when this book came out. I got this after the fact when I saw the Unsolved Mystery episode, and I was starting an Unsolved Mystery collection, and I was like, I want to get that book and read it. And I've read it fully through once. I gotta read it again. This is my really good copy of this book. Like, look at how good this is. I've had this book like 3 times over at one time. So, this book is good. So, if anyone is an Elvis fan, read this book. And then you judge for yourself what happened. But when you read it, after you read it, don't read it like you hate Elvis, because that's not what this book was about. This was to inform people what happened and show Elvis in a different light. It's a more darker light, but you know what? Like I said, there's 2 sides to everybody. You could put on that mask and be all generous and do the things for people, but there is times, and Elvis went through it, where you're not having a good day. You get mad. You're erratic. And I think maybe sometimes Elvis did that. I don't think he did it to hurt anybody, but he would get mad. Like any other human, he would get mad. Him throwing a pool cue at someone that's messed up. No, I read that in that book. All she wanted, I'll tell you that story. She was with Sonny West. They went to the house. She wanted to meet Elvis. They were playing pool, Elvis and Sonny. And she was just asking Sonny to take her home. Elvis got mad about something. He always was funny about stuff too. And he threw a pool cue and hit her in the breast. And it hurt her. Now, she could have sued Elvis back then. And this was probably like 1960 that he did this. So he was young then. She could have sued him. And that would have been it for Elvis, really. But she didn't. Sonny West calmed her down. And she lived her whole life like that with that damaged breast because of what Elvis did. And that's not of Elvis people really want to hear about. But I think it's you have to read this book if you're an Elvis fan. Don't let any other Elvis fan tell you that, nah, don't read that book. That book ain't good. You ain't gonna like it. Find out for yourself. Because maybe you'll look at Elvis in a different light like I did after I read it. I read this book because before I read this book, I was the same way as you guys. Oh, Elvis could do no wrong. Elvis was greatest. And I read this book and I'm like, you know what? He's not that. Elvis is human. Elvis, what happened? If you don't have it, try to get it. read it, find it online if you can't find a physical copy like I have, because these are kind of more hard to get books. They're kind of expensive. I've spent a lot of money sometimes on these books, but I kept one. I sold my other ones because they were in readier copies than this one. This is a good copy, so I keep it in my unsolved mystery stuff. And this has been retroerick97 on the deep dive of Elvis What Happened. I'm probably going to do more deep dives like this for other books in my unsolved mysteries. I got a lot of those. Serial killer books, I can do deep dives in those because those are interesting. Those are really good. I got a lot of rare ones, a lot of rare unsolved mystery books. Just like and comment, subscribe to my channel because I'm putting videos up all the time. Right now, I'm doing them like every day. I'm trying to get a video up. If not every day, it's gonna be every other day. It's 3 days out. I'll put up a new video. But continue to watch these because I am trying to inform people on stuff like this and get them interested in it. Because you might watch that episode of Unsolved Mysteries on Elvis and say, "Man, I haven't seen Unsolved Mysteries in years." And then you watch from season 1 and 2 and 3 and so forth. Because they have the complete collection on YouTube if you want to watch it, or Tubi. So there's 2 places you can watch Unsolved Mysteries. So this is Eric with Elvis What Happened saying thank you very much. You've been a beautiful audience.